Assalam, Jan. I hope you're well. I hope that your week so far has been fruitful and informative. That you're learning a lot and hard still. Um, so last week was, I don't know if it is our final tutoring session, but the test that you wrote, you did fairly well, and I think going into the test that you now, your formal exams that you will write, I feel quite confident, in terms of killing the paper and getting your 80%. There's this one thing that I want to sort of clarify with you, or something that I think that you're not struggling with, that you're finding a small little bit challenging, but I'll try and assist now in this PowerPoint that I made. If you hear music in the background, please ignore it. It's the neighbors, and there's nothing that I can do with that. So the topic that which I think that you've sort of struggled with a bit, was woordorde or sentence construction, right? And once you get the nick of it, or the rationale behind the topic, then it will become easier. And in grade 4, you doing this, I mean, it sets the foundation for the next grade and the next grade. I told you how I worked with grade 11s, and some of them grappled with it, so you are doing really well. So let's start, right? I posed the question to you in terms of what does a normal sentence constitute of, right? That's supposed to be one if waar het bestaan normale sin, right? Any sentence that you write, any sentence that you that comes out of your mouth, consists of an onderwerp, a werkwoord, and a voorwerp, right? These three things is the main elements that your sentence entail, right? And in order to identify the sentence, subject, werkwoord, verb, and object in the sentence, is you ask certain questions, right? For instance, for the onderwerp, we then ask, or you ask, wie, right? Who is performing the action? Wie doen die handeling? The verb is the action, right? Which is fairly straightforward. And the voorwerp, or the object, you then pose the question, what, right? So let's look at an example quickly. The sentence reads as follow: Raven skop die bal, right? So we want to identify our onderwerp or our subject, so we ask the question wie, right? Wie skop die bal? Raven. And that's how we get our subject, our onderwerp. Skop, very easy, that's our action or our doing word. Die bal, right? So we pose the question wat word geskop, right? That's how we get our voorwerp. That is supposed to be voorwerp, and not onderwerp. I don't know how I got that wrong. So the wat, die bal, is the object or the voorwerp. Then there was something called an acronym called STOMPY, right? And STOMPY is also the foundation, or it builds onto writing long sentences, making sure that your sentence construction is understandable for the reader to read, right? And there I said S is for subject, which is onderwerp, verb 1. Then there is T for bywoord van tyd. There is something new now, which is called adverb, right? And the adverb normally describes the verb, you see it very nicely, or it stands near to the verb, right? O is for object, M bywoord or adverb van manier or manner, P bywoord van plek, and the infinitive, right? You won't worry about this. I think in grade 6 or 7 then you will do the infinitive, alright? So these things, whenever you do a sentence, you have to take into consideration stompy, so that your sentence will make sense, and then the verb will be on the right place. You won't put the verb last, or you won't put the subject last, right? So once you follow this method, you're good to go, right? So here we have the bywoorde or the adverbs, right? And there we have bywoord van tyd. Again, we must ask ourselves certain questions in order to identify the adverb of time, adverb of manner, and adverb of place, or bywoord, right? Bywoord van tyd, dan vra ons when of wanneer, right? Bywoord van manier, how or who. In other words, bywoord van tyd, when did the action take place, right? Of wanneer het die aksie plaasgevind. Bywoord van manier, how or who, right? Hoe was het gedoen? Bywoord van plek, waar, right? So now there's a nice sentence, like nice colorful, right? Sentence is Jan vang elke dag die skoen vinnig in haar kamer. Let's first identify the subject, the verb, and the object, right? We know the subject, we ask ourselves wie, right? Wie vang elke dag die skoen? Jan. So that must be our subject or onderwerp. Wat doen sy? Sy vang. So that is my werkwoord, that is the verb, right? And then we must identify the object or the voorwerp. Wat vang sy elke dag? Sy vang die skoen, right? There I have my subject, my verb, which is vang, werkwoord, and die skoen, object, right? And now we have three new things, which is bywoord van tyd, bywoord van manier, and bywoord van plek. Let's identify, right? Bywoord van tyd. Wanneer vang sy die skoen? Sy vang het elke dag. That is the time. When is he catching the shoe? Right? Elke dag. Bywoord van manier. How is he catching it? Right? Hoe vang sy die skoen elke dag? Sy vang dit vinnig. Right? That is a manner. Sy vang dit vinnig, of sy vang dit stadig, of sy vang dit rapsig, or any word, right? In terms of the manner in which he catches, right? Bywoord van plek, waar or where. Where is he catching the shoe every day? In haar kamer, right? Waar vang sy die skoen vinnig? In haar kamer. That is the place, right? So when you deal with this woordorde, then this is the questions that you have to pose yourself, right? For both subject, object, and verb, and the adverbs, right? So I want you to do this activity, right? Lees die volgende sin en identifiseer die onderwerp, subject, werkwoord, verb, bywoord van tyd, manier, plek, and you must identify the object, right? There is the sentence. John lees elke dag 'n boek lus in die klaskamer. So I want you to identify the subject, the object, the verb, the adverb of time, manner, place, etc. Right? That is the end of this short lesson. I hope that you enjoy it, and good luck with your exams.